My stepdad mocked my failing fashion brand, but secretly tried to take it, until my Paris Fashion Week revenge destroyed his reputation. I traced my fingers along the silk fabric, feeling its perfect weight and drape. This would be the centerpiece of my new collection if I could keep my brand alive long enough to show it. "Miss Harrison," my assistant Kate said, poking her head into my studio. "Your mother called again. They're expecting you for dinner at 7. I glanced at the clock, 6:30 p.m. Another carefully orchestrated family dinner at Marcus Wellington's mansion, where my stepfather would undoubtedly find new ways to belittle my dreams. "Thank you, Kate," I replied. "Could you make sure the lookbook photos are ready for tomorrow and confirm our meeting with the influencer agency?" "Already done," she smiled, then hesitated. "Are you sure about keeping the Paris plans quiet? Your family might be more supportive if they knew." I shook my head, carefully folding the silk. Marcus would only try to interfere. Better they think Isabella Harrison Designs is struggling. It makes tonight's performance more convincing. The truth was, my little boutique had outgrown its humble beginnings months ago. What started as a small atelier in Brooklyn had evolved into something much bigger. Though I'd carefully hidden the evidence, every time Marcus's spies reported back about my empty shop, I was actually meeting with luxury buyers in private showrooms. When he gloated about my amateur designs, major fashion editors were already fighting to feature them. But tonight, I needed to play the struggling designer one last time. The Wellington mansion loomed before me, all marble columns and old money arrogance. Marcus had bought it with my father's insurance money after marrying my mother, though he preferred everyone forget that detail. I smoothed my deliberately simple dress, one of my designs but understated enough that Marcus wouldn't recognize it, and rang the bell. "Darling," my mother answered, all perfect makeup and nervous energy. "You're just in time. Marcus has big news." "I bet he does," I thought, kissing her cheek. I'd heard whispers about his plan to launch his own luxury brand, building off his success in mass-market retail. He'd been poaching designers and manufacturers for months, though he didn't know I had friends in every atelier he'd approached. The dining room was a monument to Marcus's idea of success: crystal chandelier, antique furniture, and precisely arranged place settings that no one dared disturb. My younger half-sister Sophia sat quietly, tapping her phone under the table. At 16, she was already learning to navigate Marcus's moods. "Isabella," Marcus said, not bothering to stand as I entered. "I trust your little shop isn't keeping you too busy for family obligations." I took my seat, noting how he positioned me directly across from him, a classic power play. "Never too busy for family," I replied. "Excellent," he smiled, all teeth and no warmth. "Because we need to discuss your future." The staff served dinner, elaborate French cuisine that Marcus barely touched while holding court. He loved an audience, especially a captive one. "I've been reviewing the family's investments," he began, swirling his wine. "Your mother and I have decided it's time for some changes." My mother flinched slightly. We both knew she hadn't decided anything. "Your boutique," Marcus continued, "has been draining resources for 2 years now. The foot traffic reports are abysmal. Your social media engagement is laughable. And those designs—" He shook his head. "Let's be honest, Isabella. You're embarrassing the family name." I took a small bite of salmon, letting him build to his crescendo. "Therefore, I'm cutting your funding," he declared. "It's time to close up shop and join the real world." His smile widened. "In fact, I'm launching a new luxury fashion line, Wellington Haute Couture. I could use someone with your basic understanding in a junior position, under proper supervision, of course." Sophia's phone clattered to the floor. She knew how hard I'd worked, how many nights I'd spent perfecting my craft while Marcus built his empire on cheap knockoffs. "That's very thoughtful," I said carefully, watching my mother's face fall at my apparent surrender. "When do you need my decision?" "Decision?" Marcus laughed. "I'm not offering a choice, Isabella. The boutique's lease, your equipment, even your supply contracts. Who do you think has been underwriting all that? I own everything you've built." I stood slowly, placing my napkin beside my barely touched plate. "I see." Then I suppose I should go pack up my studio. Don't be dramatic, Marcus sighed. Stay. Finish dinner. We're family after all. Tomorrow my team will handle everything. I kissed my mother's cheek, whispered, "Watch the news tomorrow," in Sophia's ear, and walked out of the mansion for the last time. In my car, I finally allowed myself to smile. Marcus was right about one thing. Tomorrow would change everything. He just didn't know that his family obligation had outmaneuvered him at every turn. My phone buzzed. A message from Kate, influencer contract signed, celebrity fittings confirmed, Paris guest list finalized, and Marcus's team just tried to access our real financial records. Perfect, I replied. Let him think he found all my secrets. I drove to my real studio. Not the decoy boutique Marcus had been watching, but the converted warehouse in Manhattan's garment district where my team was putting the finishing touches on the collection that would debut at Paris Fashion Week. The collection that would make Isabella Harrison Designs a global luxury brand. And if Marcus thought he could steal it, he was about to learn that his stepdaughter had inherited more than just her father's talent for design. She'd also inherited his business acumen and his lawyers. The next morning dawned crisp and clear. Perfect weather for watching an empire crumble. I sat in my real studio's control room, surrounded by screens showing security feeds from both locations. On one monitor, Marcus's acquisition team was breaking into my decoy boutique, smugly photographing the intentionally mediocre designs I'd left as bait. On another, celebrities were quietly entering my real studio through the private entrance. They found the fake financial records, Kate reported, watching the feed, and the secret notebook with the terrible sketches. How long until they realize none of the real equipment is there? She checked her watch. Given their competence level, hours, but it won't matter by then. She was right. At exactly 9 a.m., my carefully orchestrated plan began unfolding across social media. First, Victoria Chen, Hollywood's newest A-list actress, posted a photo in one of my designs at her movie premiere, obsessed with my Isabella Harrison Designs gown. Can't wait to wear more at #Paris Fashion Week. 10 minutes later, pop superstar Jade Martinez shared a video of her final fitting in my studio. Isabella Harrison isn't just a designer. She's an artist. This collection is going to change fashion forever. By 9:30, my name was trending worldwide. My phone buzzed. Marcus. I let it go to voicemail, focusing instead on the real work ahead. In the main studio, 30 skilled artisans were putting final touches on the collection. Each piece represented months of innovation, combining traditional craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. The centerpiece, a hand-embroidered gown with fiber-optic threads that changed color with the wearer's movements, had already been purchased by 3 major museums. "Miss Harrison," one of my seamstresses called out, "the Vogue team is here for the exclusive preview." I nodded, watching Anna Wintour, the magazine's formidable editor, enter with her entourage. She'd been one of my earliest supporters, recognizing the potential in my designs long before the celebrities and influencers. "Isabella?" she said, air-kissing my cheeks. "Darling, the buzz is extraordinary, and these pieces—" She ran her hand along a jacket made of laboratory-grown crystal fabric. "You've outdone yourself." "Thank you, Anna," I replied, though I suspect my stepfather might disagree. She smiled wickedly. "Ah, yes, Marcus Wellington. I heard he's trying to launch his own luxury line. Knockoffs of last season's trends, I assume." "Actually," I said, pulling up some designs on my tablet, "these are his planned showpieces. Notice anything familiar?" Anna's eyes narrowed as she swiped through the images. "These are remarkably similar to your early sketches. The ones you showed me last year." "The ones I deliberately leaked, you mean?" I switched to another screen showing trademark registrations and patent applications. Everything properly documented and dated, of course. "Oh, you delicious creature," she laughed. "You knew he'd try to steal your work." "Marcus has been copying other designers for years," I said. "I just gave him the perfect opportunity to copy mine." I gestured to the busy studio, while he was focused on my failing boutique, We built this, every piece protected, every innovation patented. My phone buzzed again. More missed calls from Marcus, plus increasingly frantic texts from my mother. Isabella, what's happening? Marcus is furious. Darling, please call us. The news is saying you're showing at Paris Fashion Week. Finally, a message from Sophia. OMG sis, you're trending. Marcus is having a meltdown. This is epic. Kate appeared at my elbow. Marcus's team just realized the boutique is empty. No equipment, no patterns, no real inventory. They're calling his lawyers. Right on schedule, I said, checking the time. Is everything ready for the press conference? She nodded. Live stream set up? Journalists arriving? She smirked. And Marcus just requested an invitation. Perfect, I said, smoothing my dress. One of my most sophisticated designs, naturally. Let's give him a front row seat to his own humiliation. The press conference room filled quickly. Fashion journalists, industry insiders, and social media influencers packed the space, all eager to understand how an apparently struggling designer had secretly built one of the most anticipated luxury brands of the year. I spotted Marcus in the back, his face dark with rage, flanked by his lawyers. My mother sat beside him, looking confused but proud, and there was Sophia, grinning and filming everything on her phone. Good morning, I began, taking the podium. Thank you all for coming. Today, Isabella Harrison Designs is proud to announce our debut at Paris Fashion Week, featuring innovations that will redefine luxury fashion. Screens around the room lit up, showcasing my real collection. Gasps and murmurs filled the air as journalists saw the technological innovations, the architectural designs, the perfect fusion of art and engineering. Every piece is fully protected by international patents and trademarks, I continued, my eyes finding Marcus. We've spent 2 years developing these innovations in secret, while maintaining a decoy location to prevent industrial espionage. Marcus's lawyers were frantically whispering to him now, likely explaining how thoroughly he'd been outmaneuvered. We've also discovered attempts to copy our early designs, I added, triggering another round of whispers. Fortunately, we anticipated such attempts and can prove the provenance of every original concept. The questions began flying. How did you keep this secret? Who funded the development? Is it true the collection is already sold out to private buyers? I answered each one carefully, watching Marcus's face grow darker with every revelation. His dream of launching a luxury brand was crumbling. After all, who would back him now that he'd been exposed as attempting to copy his stepdaughter's work? When the formal presentation ended, Marcus tried to approach the podium, but security smoothly intercepted him. I'd learned from the best, after all, him, about controlling access and managing optics. Isabella, he called out, loud enough for nearby journalists to hear. You ungrateful little... Mr. Wellington, I cut him off smoothly. All legal correspondence should go through our attorneys, though I should warn you, attempting to seize a company you don't actually own could be considered corporate fraud. He froze. What do you mean, don't own? I smiled, channeling his own condescending expression. Check the paperwork, Marcus. Everything you thought you were funding was a shell company. The real Isabella Harrison Designs has different investors, different contracts, and different ownership. But thank you for the early lessons in business strategy. They proved quite valuable. As security escorted him out, I caught my mother's eye. She was crying, but smiling too. Sophia ran up and hugged me, whispering, That was amazing. Can I intern for you this summer? Later, in my office, Kate brought in a stack of media coverage. The story was everywhere. Young designer outsmarts corporate takeover. Fashion's new tech revolutionary. The secret success of Isabella Harrison. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Marcus. You'll regret this. I made you. I typed back, No, you underestimated me. The regret is entirely yours. Then I turned back to my team. We had a Paris Fashion Week show to prepare, and this was just the beginning. Paris Fashion Week, the pinnacle of haute couture, where legends are made or destroyed in 15 minutes on a runway. I stood backstage at the Grand Palais, watching my team prepare for the moment that would define Isabella Harrison Designs forever. "Marcus is here," Kate murmured, tablet in hand. "Front row with his lawyers. They filed another injunction this morning." I smiled, adjusting a model's collar. "How many does that make?" 6 in 3 weeks. "All dismissed, though he did manage to freeze some of your old accounts." "The empty ones," I confirmed. "How's Mom doing?" Kate glanced at her tablet. "She's in her seat. Sophia's with her. And the video you asked for is ready." The last 3 weeks had been a whirlwind of preparations and legal maneuvers. Marcus, desperate to salvage his reputation, had tried everything to stop my show. Each attempt had only generated more publicity, more interest, more proof that he was exactly what I painted him to be, a man who built his success by stealing from others. "5 minutes," the stage manager called out. I gathered my team. Everyone knows their roles. We've prepared for this moment for 2 years now. Let's show the world what real innovation looks like. The lights dimmed. The music began, a haunting melody I commissioned specifically for this show. The massive screens above the runway flickered to life, showing the journey of Isabella Harrison Designs from that small Brooklyn boutique to this moment. Then, the first model emerged. The crowd gasped as my crystal fabric jacket caught the light, refracting it into thousands of rainbow patterns. Each movement created new colors, new designs, new possibilities. The technology we developed didn't just make beautiful clothes, it redefined what clothing could be. More looks followed, the color-changing gown that responded to sound, the architectural pieces that transformed on the runway, the sustainable fabrics that looked like liquid metal but felt like silk. Each innovation was perfectly documented, patented, and protected. From my position backstage, I could see Marcus's face growing darker with each new revelation. He thought my little boutique was producing simple dresses and basic designs. Now he was watching 2 years of secret innovation parade past him, knowing he couldn't touch any of it. Halfway through the show, the screens changed. Now they showed correspondence, contracts, and designs, dated and documented evidence of every attempt Marcus had made to steal my work. Interspersed were clips from security cameras showing his team breaking into my decoy studio, trying to steal what they thought were my secrets. The fashion world is brutal, but it despises thieves more than failures. The final look was my masterpiece, a wedding gown that combined every innovation we developed. As the model reached the end of the runway, the dress began to transform, each layer revealing new patterns, new technologies, new possibilities. The audience rose in a standing ovation before the show even ended. In the chaos that followed, I made my way to where my mother sat, still applauding, tears streaming down her face. "Isabella," she whispered, hugging me tight, "why didn't you tell me?" "Because Marcus would have used you to stop me," I said gently. "He had to believe he was in control." "He's ruined," Sophia announced gleefully, showing me her phone. Stock in Marcus's companies was plummeting as news of his attempted theft spread. Major retailers were canceling contracts, unwilling to be associated with proven plagiarism. "Ms. Harrison," journalists swarmed around us. "How does it feel to be the breakout star of Paris Fashion Week? Is it true you've already received orders worth over $50 million? Will you press charges against Marcus Wellington?" I held up my hand for quiet. Isabella Harrison Designs represents a new era in fashion, one built on innovation, integrity, and imagination. We've proven that success doesn't come from stealing others' dreams, but from believing in your own. "This isn't over," Marcus's voice cut through the crowd. He looked disheveled, desperate. "I made you. Everything you are, everything you have, it's because of me." "No, Marcus." I turned to face him one last time. "Everything I am is because you taught me exactly what kind of person I didn't want to be. You showed me that true success isn't about crushing others. It's about creating something real." Security moved to escort him out, but he shrugged them off. "Your father was a failure too," he spat. "That's why he left you nothing but debt." Actually, I smiled. He left me his most valuable asset, his belief in me, and his old warehouse in the garment district, the one you never knew about because it was in my mother's name, the one where I built all of this while you were busy mocking my little boutique. The following weeks were a blur of success. Orders poured in from luxury retailers worldwide. Our innovations were featured in technology magazines as well as fashion publications. 3 major museums requested pieces for their permanent collections. Marcus's empire crumbled as quickly as mine rose. Retailers canceled contracts, partners withdrew, and investigations revealed a pattern of theft that went back years. He'd been stealing designs from small creators, crushing them with legal threats when they complained. Now they were all coming forward. My mother filed for divorce, finally free from his control. She moved into a penthouse apartment I bought her, rediscovering her own strength day by day. Sophia started interning at my company, showing a natural talent for design technology. 1 year later, I stood in my new flagship store on 5th Avenue, watching customers marvel at our latest innovations. The struggling boutique that Marcus had mocked was now a global luxury brand known for pushing the boundaries of fashion and technology. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Marcus had been indicted for corporate fraud. His lawyers were negotiating a plea deal. Miss Harrison, a young design student approached, clutching a portfolio. Your story inspired me to pursue my dreams. Would you look at my work? I smiled, remembering my own early dreams. Of course. And please, call me Isabella. Later that night, in my office overlooking the city, I opened my father's old sketchbook. His final note was still there, written when he knew he was dying. Success isn't about what others think of you. It's about staying true to your vision, even when no one else believes in it. I'd done more than that. I turned his vision into an empire, transformed his old warehouse into a fashion revolution, and proved that the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about building something so magnificent that their attacks become irrelevant. Marcus had taught me one final lesson. Sometimes people underestimate you because they can't imagine you being stronger than they are. Their limitations become their weakness. My phone buzzed again. Anna from Vogue. Darling, what do you say to a cover story? The future of fashion, how Isabella Harrison changed the game. I looked out at the city lights, thinking about that family dinner a year ago when Marcus thought he was ending my dreams. He never understood that you can't kill a dream by mocking it. You only make it stronger. Yes, I replied. I think it's time to tell the whole story. After all, success isn't just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And sometimes, the best revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't be.